Welcome back. It's time for our health report, and joining us now is Africa 54 health correspondent Linord Moudou with a look at cardiovascular disease. Linord.
The World Health Organization says 17.5 million people die each year from cardiovascular disease, and 75% of the deaths occur in low-income and middle-income countries. Cardiovascular disease is caused by disorders of the heart and blood vessels and includes heart attacks, stroke, and hypertension, rheumatic heart disease, and congenital heart disease. According to the WHO, the major causes of the disease are tobacco use, physical inactivity, and unhealthy diet and harmful use of alcohol. Health experts say cardiovascular disease is the #1 cause of death in sub-Saharan Africa in adults over the age of 30. They say one of the strongest drivers is undiagnosed and untreated hypertension, which affects nearly 1 in 2 Africans over the age of 25, the highest rate of any continent in the world. Joining us live via Skype for more on the subject is Mrs. Elizabeth Gatumia. She's joining us from Kenya, Nairobi. She's CEO of the Kenyan-Heart National Foundation. Mrs. Gatumia, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Glad to be with you this evening.
It's good to have you.
Kenya.
It's good to have you joining us all the way from Nairobi. Listen, can you give us a sense of the scope of the problem of heart disease in Kenya?
It's big. We must say that, like you have rightly said, I heard your brief there. It is becoming a real concern in our country. But as you would know, our biggest challenge in our country is that we lack proper data. Most of the data that is used is based on isolated research activities that are done by different individuals or groups. Like, for instance, Kenyan-Heart has done its own research, particularly on rheumatic heart disease, which is a disease that affects children. And we found that at least 6 children, between 6 and 10 children die of rheumatic heart disease out of 1,000 children. And that's a very, very remote baseline survey that we did. And so, yes, indeed, from what we hear from the hospitals, people dying suddenly from stroke, from heart attack, due to undiagnosed hypertension, or even lack of follow-up of those who have been diagnosed with hypertension and don't follow up with the medication, which is supposed to be for life. And so it is true. Again, with affluent, the people who are well-to-do in Kenya, obesity is also becoming a challenge. I know in America it's a big-time one.
Yes.
It is becoming a challenge here because, you see, after colonization, I guess we tried to take on board all those things that probably had become a challenge to the so-called now developed world.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this quickly, because your organization focuses on addressing heart disease through awareness and education. How do you do that, and do you focus on a specific population?
Yes, we do. In Kenyan-Heart, we concentrate a lot more on children. We believe we can make a lot of difference, a big difference, if we start educating the children from very early, from as early as class 3, that is from 9 years and above. If we teach them good feeding habits, that it's not just about eating fries and mandazis that we cook here in Kenya, and other fatty foods, that it is a good habit to be eating vegetables and fruits, and eating balanced meals. That's what we teach them. And we actually, at Kenyan-Heart, encourage kitchen gardens in every school. We establish kitchen gardens ourselves. We go there, give them the plants. We give them the fertilizers. We cultivate for them. And we also have what we call Kenyan-Heart talking walls in their schools.
Okay, Mrs. Gatumia, we have to leave it there, unfortunately. Thank you so much. We'll pick it up another day. Thank you for joining us.